Thank you so much for tuning in here at Free to Be Yourself. And I have the honor and the privilege to reconnect with an old friend, Dr. James Arthur Williams. And not only did you get your doctorate, you wrote a book, James, since the last time I saw you, The Power Behind the Words. Check Your Life, Be Limitless. And James, why don't you do me the honors of introducing yourself even further, my dear?
Okay, well, my name is James Williams. It's funny because I think anytime somebody asks you that, you want to try to think about what is it that the world see you as, and then who are you really? So the world see me as a professor, a person that had a past. I wrote a previous book called From Thug to Scholar. So I had a past where I masked myself as a certain individual in a certain environment. And now, people see me as a professor, scholar. Oh, he does these things. But realistically, I'm just a person that just love life and try to get the most out of it and try to really understand what is my authentic voice. And I try to share that inherent truth with other people so that they can see how they can be free and really start living whatever life that they are supposed to live. So it's not really geared towards a certain profession or certain relationship. It's just being who you was meant to be before your spirit sort of got entangled up with the way the world tell you to be. And so that's what I'm really trying to get people to do, to free themselves to be that individual, whatever that is. That's really what I think my purpose is. I think that's why I'm here. So it has nothing to do with all of the titles the world gives me.
Well, and how appropriate that you are a guest on my podcast called Free to Be Yourself. And so, James, you and I met on a casting. What was it for?
Harrah's Casino.
That's right. And remember, it was an all night. This is when you know your true talent in the world, right? You get the job that we had to wait till all of the actual guests left, right? So we could be filmed in the casino. And so we had a whole night to muse and get to know each other. And we had come across. Yes, it was.
Great individuals on that cast.
It was. And so we instantly connected. We shared some stories with one another. And I'll never forget being in the car with you and you telling me I got some pretty nerve-wracking news. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And this is where on this podcast, I'm very open about my past and I'm very open about what it took me to free myself.
Yeah.
And you held space for me that day in such a way that I truly will never forget it, James. And it was something of the nature of, I was caught in a lie.
Yeah.
And I just remember the panic that came over me, the anxiety of having to go back and like show face and like, what am I going to say? And I mean, you walked me through it, like in such a way with so much compassion and so much, really, truly, like I said, I'll never forget it and have not since then. So where did that come from? Where did that come from with you? Tell me.
I think, so when I left JMU, I think when I was at James Madison University, it was the first time I started making a serious amount of money. And I was a professor occupying my role, and I started having a lot of success. And I think I started forgetting why I was getting this success because, even though we want to try to move away from who we are to validation and, needing the world to love you, it's a struggle. You think you got it. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, bam, I flunked that test. So I feel like when I left JMU and I came to University of Tennessee, now it's like, all right, James, you're 34. You need to find yourself. Who are you? And it's you constantly peeling back the mask, peeling back this mask that's been on you for so many years. And people want you to change just like that. But shit, it took you 30, 35 years to be this individual, right? So you're removing this mask and you're constantly finding out things you don't like about yourself. What are my weaknesses? What are my flaws? Who am I really meant to be outside of this? So I was given a lot of good advice that I was supposed to be taking at the same time. So it came from a very honest place. But then when you start seeing other people, what their struggles and what they're dealing with, you're just like, yo, I really want to help that person. And me helping you was also me helping me. And it came
Yes.
from a very raw, it came from a very raw place, but it was like, man, I see this person that I care about. How can I really give them something that can really help them in this situation? And I think that's what the world needs. You know, we have too many people they're not authentic. They're not willing to say, hey, I fucked up, or this is who I am. But we're trying to mold and shape ourselves into other people's ideas of us. And that's not what the world created us for. So I think you had to see like, oh, okay, man, this is, you know, who am I really in this situation? And I just happened to, whatever God gave me, the universe energy gave me at that moment, I just tapped into that source and gave it to you. So.
Well, again, it was very impactful. I was able to go back and to face my fears. And, you know, I would love to look back at my timeline, how long it took me to actually truly say the words I needed to say in that situation to free myself. And that's what shame does. That's what guilt does. When we, like you were speaking about, putting on the masks. I think of it as like putting on layers of clothing, or just like really trying to shrink down and hide yourself. And you just get lost in that.
Yes.
And it's so debilitating. And really on the base of everything, it's always fear. It's fear of what the other person is either going to say or do to us, or the hurt we're going to inflict or receive. So, I'm so glad you reminded me about your first book, because you had just written, you were launching that book then. I remember.
Yeah. So it was, go ahead.
Tell me, I want to hear more about it. So it's called, what's the title?
So it's From Thug to Scholar, an Odyssey to Imagine My True Potential. And it's basically, you know, some people may say, oh, well, I'm not a thug. I've never done that. But some people have chose relationships because their parents wanted them to choose it, or they chose degrees or career paths that they knew it wasn't them, but they did it because the world wanted them to do it. And the world seems so very real that I gotta do this, because if I don't, then this thing that I think is so important, nobody's gonna accept me. So for me, I wanted to be accepted in my environment by having sex early, which led me to having 2 kids before I left high school, but also had me to where I'm selling drugs. And these were all my choices. I made all of these decisions. I'm not one of these type of people, my environment made me do it. No, I made the decisions. But, you know, you have this pressure, either you cave, you know, or you decide, you know what, I'm not going to let the pressure destroy me. I'm going to allow myself to turn to a diamond. And I think for a long time, the pressure was it was covering me up. And then eventually you say, no, this is not who I really am. So for me, when I almost shot somebody, that was the great awakening, to where, how in the world did I get to the point that I'm doing what I'm doing now? And I don't want to be this person no more. So when I joined the Air Force, it was like, I'm not J-Rock. I'm not a football player. I'm just going to find out who I am. And the funny thing is, the universe will give you things that sort of lead you on that path. And for me, I met a woman that I ended up marrying. So it reintroduced me to love. And what does love look like? So once you start seeing this is what love looked like, but I found myself jealous and all of these type of things because I didn't really love myself. So once I started loving myself, it's like, wow, this is what it really means to have unconditional love. So then you don't see the flaws in yourself. You just see that, okay, this is an area that I don't like. So you raise an awareness to it. Let me change this. You know, this is what I do like. Let me do this, but let me incorporate it in a way that it serves me so I can serve others. So it brings you back to yourself with an introspective look. So that's kind of what that book was about, really figuring out who you are, remove that mask. I heard this one pastor say it's your false self and your true self. So your false self is being Black, being a drug dealer, being a scholar. All of these are just identities that the world give you, or labels. But then your true self is, what is that voice saying that's deep down on the inside of you that you don't even know what it looked like, but you know it's the truth. So that's what I'm trying to walk in now.
Absolutely. That's so well said. And we all conform to these outer these meat sacks, I hear it referred to as,
Meat
our
sack.
bodies.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Don't you like that? Like, yeah,
I
just,
do. I do. I do.
how you may use that. I don't know
No, I
where
like that. I
I
like
got
that. Meat
that
sack.
one from. So it's like, yeah, we house our souls, the essence of who we come here as. And I always love to just speak about, you look at a newborn baby and there's no shame, there's
No,
no guilt, there's
they're so
no
beautiful.
feelings of I'm not enough or any
Yes.
of that. They're expressive. They let us know what they need, and they're wanting to do is to give us love
Yes.
and
And they're
be.
honest.
They're so honest. Don't you love it when they begin with their words and tell
Yes.
you things?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes. And so the second book, Check Your Life, Be Limitless, basically starts on that premise. It used the
yes.
story of Adam and Eve, and then it sort of juxtaposed Adam and Eve to babies. And when you look at babies, they're naked, they're free. They could care less. They could run around, pee, poop, whatever. They think nothing of it until a serpent come in and say, let me tell you who you are. Let me give you the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It's right for you to wear clothes. It's right for you to act like this. It's right for you to do this, 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 this. All of these miserable people tell babies how they're supposed to act, but the babies are the ones that really enjoy life. We're the ones that's miserable. They don't know that they're black. They don't know that they're white. They don't know that they're female, male. They don't know that they're heterosexual or Christian. They don't know none of these things. And then we give it to them, and then they say, I got to decide. I think I'm this, us against them. So we create this division. We create this hatred, and then we want to blame everybody else. Well, it's us, the adults, that have created this evil in this society.
Yes. It is unbelievable. I know. If we could learn so much just from their openness, their honesty. One of the things I love is my tarot cards and doing tarot readings. And the happiest card in the whole deck is the Sun card. And it's actually a toddler, a baby who's naked on a horse being carried through. Let me see if I can grab it really quick. But it's so exemplifies everything you were saying about that, just being open to the world and, not feeling so much the vulnerability, but yeah, check this out. See?
Oh, wow.
And this is when this card comes up in a reading, it is always like a yes, yes, yes. This is joyful celebration, jubilee. It's actually, this is like a union marriage card. It's beautiful. So yeah.
I love it.
So I love to ask a couple of questions to all of my guests. And you may have already kind of answered it throughout, but when in your life, James, have you felt the most free to be yourself?
I think honestly, so I'm real big on mind, body, and spirit.
Yes.
I think when I feel the most free, because I do feel free. Well, I would say this, the time I felt the most free, and then when I feel free. The time I felt the most free was when I jumped out of an airplane.
Okay.
And the part that can kill you, the free fall, is when you feel the most free. It's so many little lessons that I learned about life in that. So the part that can actually kill you, you have to let go and just let go, let God, let go, let energy, whatever it is you want to say, right? You're just letting yourself go, and it's like, just enjoy it. And the thing that you realize is that you're naked, nothing matters, you're dead. Like, but the power in it is realizing you're already dead.
Yeah.
Going back to the whole idea of meat sacks, I can say, oh, my meat sack got abs, or I got a better body. We're at the end of the day, we're dirt and we die. That's not what people really care about. Superficial people may say, oh, you got a nice body. We like your smile. You're intelligent. We like these things about you. That's superficial. The spirit is what really attracts people. So what I learned from that is once you die to this false identity of who you are, you're free. So anytime that I meditate, I feel free. Anytime that I'm in a gym and I'm not really interacting with people, even though I value that, but when I'm really just in my element and I'm pushing myself to do things that I never thought I can do with my body, I feel free. When I'm reading things that I have never read before and it's challenging me to think about it in a different manner, and I sort of it's like a detachment from the body where it's like, and it's like I feel my spirit sort of observing and analyzing the information I just absorbed, but then it's looking at this physical body that is not really me, but it's like I can see it. That's when those are the moments when I feel the most free in this world. So what I realize is I feel the most free when I'm by myself. That's when I feel the most free. Because anytime you're with somebody else, it's kind of like how Jesus said, and I'm not a religious person, but I take it in the context of how you use it. When Jesus said you die to yourself daily, anytime you're giving love to somebody, you have to die to yourself because you have to be vulnerable. You have to share a little bit of yourself, and you have to realize, oh, okay, I can't be completely selfish in this. Even though everything you do, if you're doing it with an honesty and a truth, you're selfish. You know, even when we serve others, it's selfish. It feels great for me to serve others. You know, it feels great for me to give love, even when a person is not giving it back. So that's when I feel, I hope that answered your question. I think that's what I feel.
That's beautiful. And you absolutely did. You absolutely did. So the second question is basically just flipping that. Like, do you remember when you were not free? When you felt either captive or chained or, you know?
Yes.
Talk to me about
I would
that.
say, and I don't know if trying to live up to my parents' expectations, trying to live up to society's expectations. And this is not saying they put this on me, but believing that I had to.
Yeah.
Trying to live up to my wife's expectations, expectations of people in a professional environment. I think that's where I felt handicapped. Like, and it makes you angry because you realize rules are not real. Rules are really not, they're not the benefit of society. They're the benefit of the ones that control society. So it frustrates me when I'm like, damn, I know that this is, but the majority is doing it. So sometimes you conform. So that's what bothers me. It bothers me when any decision I make, I don't feel like consciously I knew I wouldn't have made that decision. Like I don't drink because I chose to quit drinking because it doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve me. But I would choose to smoke if it was, you know, in a legal space. So it's like I figure I choose what I want to do now because of a conscious decision. So anytime I feel like I'm just acting on rote behavior and I'm sort of subconscious, that's when I feel like, damn, I'm a slave. And I don't think it's bad to have subconscious, you know, because if you're playing a sport or if I'm running, I don't need to be thinking about I'm running right now. But what I'm saying is when you're doing something, an action, and you're not being in a moment and you're not intentional, that's when I feel like shit. You know, I won't really in this conversation. I was thinking about something else. Like those moments that people would never know or they would never pick up on. I pick up on it because I'm like, shit, I wasn't even in the moment. Like I wasn't really here, you know. So those are the moments where I feel I'm sort of not free.
Yes. Oh, yes. I get you with that one. So tell me how you met your wife. And tell me about your family unit. So do you have a blended family? And I want to hear all about it because you said you have two children from very young.
I have four kids.
Four now.
Yeah. So I had two kids before I got out of high school, like two different women. But I was a different person. You know, I was whatever, right? So I have a daughter that's about to be 25. Have a daughter that'll be 24 in December. And, you know, they both, you know, being able to see that the decisions you make when you're younger, who you choose, it will impact everything. But they're beautiful people. So that's my two kids prior to my wife. I met my wife when I was in the military. I was, you know, struggling with identity and trying to figure out who I was. She was coming from a situation to where she was still trying to figure out who she was. And my flight bumped into her flight. So I have a flight of guys and she had a flight of girls. And the thing that I liked about her was when I met her, she was just very honest, you know, and I liked the brutal honesty because I felt like being an athlete, you know, I had some girls that was with me because they thought I was going to go pro. I had some people that was, you know, friends because of I was popular. So I didn't know if people really liked me. So I was always very paranoid, you know, I was paranoid to where, you know, why are you really trying to do this? And I would ask questions to this. So when I met her, it made me, you know, say, damn, like this is somebody that I could really see myself with, even though I was still working on who I was and not knowing who I was. I just knew that this was somebody I needed in my life, and I wanted them to be a part of my life. So that's what made me, I asked to marry her after dating for a month, like literally a month. I proposed to her, got married. Like I couldn't see this person out in my life. So that's how we ended up getting married. And then 21 years, you see a guy go from, at the time I was still, trying to prove that, oh, people still think I look beautiful and all of this. So flirtatious, all of these things. So she had to deal with all of this. And as we're going through that, I'm still figuring myself out. And as you get older, it's like you realize none of that shit matters. It's like all an illusion, right? And so to see her go on that journey with me, it's like somebody that I want to continuously go on that journey with me now that I feel enlightened and I feel free. And it's like everything just makes sense now. The money comes, the body is the best it's ever been. My mind is the sharpest it's ever been. And you just decide, this is a person I want to, live life with. And people, it's funny, you hear people say, oh, I fall out in love. And I say, no, it's just the management of the relationship. Is it something that is worth managing? I have certain relationships. I don't care to manage those relationships. It doesn't serve me anymore. So to me, this still serves me, and it serves me in a way that I really care about it. So that's how I viewed it. Somebody was talking the other day. It was like, oh, do you believe in soulmates? And I said, yeah, your true soulmate is the universe. That's where you come from. That's where your soul belongs to. Your body chooses to have a body mate. That is a choice.
Oh, I like that.
That is a choice, right? It's a body mate. So you say, I want to do, which I think is more powerful. And people say, no, it's more beautiful to say I got a soulmate and we're meant to be together. Well, if you buy into that philosophy, we're meant to be together, you say, well, we're meant to be together even though it's shit. But if you're saying, I choose this, it is a conscious decision that I'm choosing to be in a relationship with this person. To me, that's more impactful. That's like people say, I believe in God, but, why is God, don't just allow everybody to love him. Well, I wouldn't want to make my kids love me. Either you love me or you don't. Like, that is your choice, so that's how I kind of look at that whole relationship aspect.
I do. I like that aspect. I think we learn the most about ourselves in relationship with another, especially the intimate partnership. I do believe we have many soulmates. I don't believe there's just one person for everybody. But I do believe that we have either evolve energetically with that person. And I love to hear how you talked about how your relationship continued to change over time, and because you both were growing and evolving. And I've had 2 marriages now, 2 divorces. I've been in relationships, and it's the first time. I'm going to be 50, James, tomorrow. Isn't that crazy?
Good. Congratulations. Happy birthday. Before
Thank you. I know. Thank you. It's the first time I'm like truly single, and I get to now come from a place of consciously choosing who I want to be in my life.
Nice.
And instead of operating from a dependency, out of need, out of fear of being alone, out of fear of, I made this vow and I have to stay, even though everything in my body is moving me elsewhere. And I'm fascinated with how I have evolved through relationships. And the most evolution for me has been through the difficult, painful parts of my relationships. So, because they get down to that, that wounded parts of myself. That's what I've been exploring, and that's what I love sharing. And that's what on this podcast I want to give a voice to. There's a reason we go and do things. There's a reason we numb out, or we decide we want to not be fully in a relationship or fully engage or be honest. There's a younger part of ourselves where we disconnected and we chose a behavior then. And so
Yes.
I'm a big believer, and we can change our thoughts. We can change. And then back to your book, I mean, check your life, be limitless. And I wrote down some of your powerful quotes, and, you know, just how specific you were talking about your mind over your matter. Breakdown of the mind over matter. Let nothing stop you, not even self.
No.
And I love it. I love it, because there's been so many times I've stopped. I wanted to stop. I wanted to regress. I wanted to check out, numb out, all these things. And what is so beautiful about our souls, they don't get tired.
So true.
They don't tire on us. Like she would constantly nudge me, like, you got this. Like,
yes.
I want you up here. You are meant for this. You are meant for greatness. You are meant to feel free and to give of yourself this way, and to not stay in this. And for me, James, it was a mindset. It had nothing to do with the partnership I was with,
yes,
or the ones I've been with. It was my mindset, and it was my healing that needed to be healed by my pain.
But what you said is so powerful, because for a couple of things, you know, you meet people that say they're single. I just want to be in a relationship. You meet some people in a relationship and they're ready to get out of the relationship. And I say, if you keep looking outward instead of looking inside, you're never going to see what's really important. And I think it's good. Like, you should be single in your relationship. You should be single in life, because you leave this earth on your own. Like, nobody's leaving this world with you. You know, your thoughts are your thoughts. Nobody truly know who you are. And the funny thing is, you have a lot of people that say, I know who you are. But then they'll do something and they'll be like, damn, I can't believe I did it. You don't even know who you are. How in the hell you know who I am, right? So it's like constantly trying to figure yourself out, which you can't figure it out from a finite perspective. You got to be able to do something that taps into the esoteric or the spiritual realm, because we're spiritual beings, you know, and we're all created for some unique purpose. But 95% of the people really don't believe that, you know, so they look at, oh, well, J-Lo is doing this. Have you ever had a conversation with J-Lo? Have you ever seen any interviews with J-Lo? J-Lo can be a miserable person at certain times. So just because we see outward success does not mean a person has personal success. I have personal success. There is nobody I look at life and say, I want to be that person, or I want to be like them. There is nobody I would trade my life for. There absolutely nobody. I don't care how much money they have. I love me, you know, and a lot of people cannot really genuinely say that. They really love who they are, you know, and I love me. Like, I really love all of the aspects about me. And I think it came from realizing everything you see is an illusion. It's kind of like the Matrix. You know, you take the red pill or the blue pill. I want the red pill. I want the truth.
The red pill.
You know, I want to see how far the rabbit hole goes. And it's the curiosity. And you think about, when you look at a baby, this is the beautiful thing about babies too. If they pick up a phone or a Lego, they observe it. Then they use practical knowledge. They taste it, and then they analyze it. This is not food. See, they're still curious. Adults, they lose their curiosity because people start telling them how to think, how to act, how to be. So then when they got to just be by themselves, well, what am I supposed to do? Let me grab my phone. Let me watch TV. I don't know what it's like to be by myself. And if you can't enjoy being by yourself, you don't love yourself. It's no way. But to me, I love it. When I go overseas, I never even cut a TV on. Never. I rarely look at my phone, you know, so it's that. But when you come back to the States, it's like you conform, and it's like, you know, I want to get back to those moments where, no, I don't need what's going in my head. I need my own thoughts. I like my thoughts better than the world's thoughts.
Oh my goodness. Yes. So tell me how people can find you, and tell me what you got to be speaking places, right? Because you are a phenomenal speaker.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have a website called www.unmask, UNMASKYTP, and that stands for unmaskyourtruepotential.com. And that is my handle pretty much for everything. On Facebook, it's unmaskytp. On Twitter, it's unmaskytp. On YouTube, I have a lot of videos up there. It's unmaskytp. So those would be the easiest places for people to find me. Also, I mean, I guess you can find me at the UT website, Dr. James Arthur Williams. But I'm always open to speak. I'm always open to just connect to people. I feel like, look, if you're a sensuous being and you absolutely want to share unconditional love, we have to be the light. You know, a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
complain about the evil or the things that's going on in the world. Darkness will never go anywhere. Only way to eliminate darkness is to shine light. You know, when you're walking to the bathroom at night and you're stumbling, I may hit my watch to give me a little bit of light. It's the light that illuminates. So we need more beings to really share that spiritual message that pierces deeper than religion, that pierces
Mm-hmm.
deeper than trying to be good, whatever that means. But it's just, just sharing your truth and your honesty. And I think that's what it's really about. So I'm always willing to share.
That is so beautiful. You got my heart is just beating out of its chest just listening to your words. And that is true. That is exactly why we are here. We are here to share our light, our essence, and the highest vibration is love.
Yes.
And so I have a little offering, a gift for you that I'm doing with all of my guests on my podcast. And this is why I like to have the visual aspect of it.
Okay.
Is I am going to tell you what your lifetime tarot symbol is.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay.
So what I need from you, I should have asked this before, but tell me your birthday if you don't care to announce this live with everybody.
Listen, I'm 41 now. I'm moving up the ladder. 4/5/1980.
4/5/1980. So you just had a birthday.
Yes.
Okay, so we got 9. Take me a minute to do old school math, which is super fun. Look at you,
Okay.
3 9s. So 20. So 9 times 3, 27.
41. What age?
No. I'm trying to have you help me do math real quick.
Oh, say it again.
What's 9 times 3? Isn't that crazy?
27. Yeah, you're right. You got it.
Yeah, 27. Okay.
I remember that in the timetables. Yeah. The threes. I remember that.
Ooh, so I've been doing a lot of 10s.
Okay.
So your numerology is a 10. Have you been told this before?
No, never.
Yes.
So 10. Okay.
So 10 is an extremely powerful number because it holds 2 numbers, 1 and 0.
Okay.
1 being all about new beginnings, 0 being the number of infinity.
Oh, wow.
So just in your number, just who you represent as a number in your, just for your energy is all about how you move through life. And I'm excited to show you what your symbol is you are a true change maker. And the tarot symbol is this card right here, and it's the Wheel of Fortune.
Okay.
And so the Wheel of Fortune is spectacular. So you see up here, you see the Roman numeral 10.
Yes.
And so what the meaning of this card is all about constant change, evolution, and moving up towards basically your highest self. The way that you do this is you have to not conform to what already was. And these 4 corners of the card these are the 4 fixed signs in astrology. And they're all, it's earth element, air element, it's water, and then it's fire. And they're all, look at Professor, they're all studying their books. So through knowledge, through you sharing knowledge, for you imparting knowledge to others, but also absorbing it, is how you create this change. And so with each one of these cards, there's, I always call it like there's a little bit of medicine in the cards for us to take. And for you is just continue. And that's what you're doing, is you keep your eye on the center, and the center is you. It's the self. It's the essence of who you are. And when you hold fast to that, everything in your outer reality is going to be in perfect flow, in perfect vibration. And things are going to come to you just as they would as you're, floating down a stream. There's no resistance there. So there you go, my dear. That's your lifetime symbol.
I love it. And it's crazy because we was talking about it the whole time.
Yes,
the whole time. That is, wow. Okay. I appreciate that.
No problem. I love the tarot. The tarot is, just to tell my listeners out there and to share with you, The tarot is the journey of our soul in picture forms. So we began as this fool who's like lighthearted and super excited to engage in life, to actually jump and leap. And we end as the world. We end as this card that is like a full circle. She's actually naked and she's vulnerable and open and she's dancing in life. And so that's enlightenment. That's what we come as this fool with the essence of like the childlike curiosity, and we don't have anything heavy we're taking with us. And each stage, each step of these 22 major arcanas is a visual representation of the soul. And then the 56 other cards are the four suits, like a playing deck of cards. And they all have a meaning. Each suit has a meaning. You guys can get on. People who follow me know me. I mean, I'm doing tarot all the time. So it's a way for us to engage in our subconscious. It's a way for us to tap into the energy that is in our lives, what's going on. And I'm so happy to share your symbol, my dear.
Thank you. That is beautiful. And it's funny because, I tell people, like, even when you look at Buddhism, everything is a complete circle, right? And Taoism, I like all of that. You just see how everything is connected. And this is a spiritual world. So I like that. I appreciate that.
Yes. Well, I appreciate you, James. I appreciate seeing your smiling face. Same. Hearing your voice, and I'm so happy to hear the success that you've had, but most importantly, just who you are and what you're standing for, and what a bright light you are to all of us, to so many. So I encourage everybody to go out and get your books, plural, and go to your website. I'm going to have all this in the show notes. You're going to be super easy to find. And he also has some really fun Facebook Lives that he does, I was watching some of your stories, and I mean, you are meant to have the camera in front of you, sir. I love it.
Well, I appreciate it. Jamie. Listen, I love you. love your evolution. Love to see that you're so light, so happy, and you're sharing that with the world. And I think women, need to see this, but I think people need to see this. So I appreciate what you're doing. So keep doing what you're doing. Seriously, it was great to see your video that you put up, and it was so honest. To see that video to now your podcast and just how you look and you feel, you just have this lightness about you. So thank you. Truly appreciate it.
Thank you, James. We will run into each other soon.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Be blessed, my dear.
Be blessed, my friend.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Love having James Arthur Williams on the show. And like I said, just look to the show notes if you want to connect. Also, I would really appreciate you leaving me a review, a 5-star review. And also, I would love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear how you're liking the podcast. I also am going to be awarding anybody who is leaving me a 5-star review with a tarot reading. I will let you know what your lifetime tarot symbol is. I'm also going to we'll just do a whole spread. I'll let you guys choose what is speaking to you, what is calling to you. If you want to know about your relationship, love, maybe career, whatever it is. But I sure would love for you to take time on Apple, Spotify, any of the platforms where you find me, connect and leave a review. And please, if you know anybody who could use this message today, please be kind and share it with them. And as always, do something today, do something that terrifies you. Get out there and step through and change, because as we change, the more that we flow through that, we truly free ourselves. Until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.